This is a gold medal and peak performance life skill presentation with Grandmaster Perez, the 1992 Olympic gold medalist, and Be a Champion, Know Your Power. Let's take a look at a case study of a young man who was bullied. He started out as a polite young man, short hair, and then he moved. His mom liked his hair a little bit longer, and so he had his hair longer. He had moved 13 times by the time he was 14, so he was always making new friends and meeting new people, and sometimes this wasn't great for him. So he'd find himself in new neighborhoods, meeting new people, having to make new friends, but he was different. He liked different things, he dreamed of different things, and he had a different vision for where he wanted to be in the future. So this often led to bullying by people who didn't know him, didn't understand him, or didn't like the way he looked, or just didn't like the fact that he was a little bit different and a little more unique. You see, we're all unique, but sometimes that uniqueness can call attention to us. So this young man kept his head down, made a few friends, and in fact made a friend who taught him how to play chess, and together they would spend many days just talking and growing. But he never forgot his dreams of being an astronaut, his dreams of going to law school, his dreams of one day walking into the Olympic Stadium holding a flag for the United States, or his dreams of going to law school. So he kept his head down, kept working, and despite the bullies in school, in the community, and just in general, he kept on his path. Well, he started to grow up and he really didn't change much. In fact, he joined a number of bands and had even longer hair and played up and down the coast playing music for everyone. Well, he then went on to win an Olympic gold medal, be on a TV show, and he kept his uniqueness and in fact learned how to deal with bullies throughout that whole process. As you can imagine, and I'm sure you've guessed by now, that young man is me. I never lost sight of my dreams, and over the years I built a way or a method to deal with bullies, but I also made a very interesting observation. During that process, I hadn't realized, but there were times where I had become a bully. I used my newfound power in different ways, sometimes intellectually with verbal bullying, sometimes socially by who I spent time with, and sometimes physically when I was forced to defend myself. I used my taekwondo. Perhaps some people would think that was bullying, and in fact it probably was. So the most important part of this is where I started and where I ended up were different, and my transition along the way is what I want to talk to you about today. How do you know if you are a bully? But more importantly, how do you know if you're being bullied, and how do you deal with bullies who may be bullying you? What I've learned over the years is bullying and bullies are chameleons. They can take many different shapes and forms, and bullying can come in many different forms and shapes. But there are basically three types of bullying. There is verbal bullying, and that's when you use language as a weapon. There is social bullying, and that's when you use language or technology as a weapon. And then finally, there is physical bullying, and that's when somebody uses their body as a weapon. Now, these don't have to be separate, and in many cases they can be used together, and in many cases they are used together. So remember, bullying is a chameleon, and in fact, you may not even realize it, but you might be bullying people in certain circumstances. So we're going to spend some time exploring each of these concepts. Verbal bullying is when you're teasing somebody or somebody is teasing you, perhaps some name calling back and forth, inappropriate comments, things that don't make somebody feel good or don't make you feel good, or in a wrong place and in a wrong time. Taunting, where you're teasing somebody and trying to get them to do something bad or to respond, and threatening to cause harm. These are various ways that you can use your voice, or someone can use their voice to bully you. Now this one's interesting because there will be times when you don't realize that what you're saying or doing is actually bullying. So you have to think about the impact it has on others. But remember, verbal bullying is as bad as any other form of bullying. Social bullying is slightly different, but it's when you leave somebody out on purpose. So you might be in a group with your friends and you'll purposely exclude somebody, or they'll exclude you, whether that's picking sides for a team in a sport, or just spending time together, or not letting somebody sit with you at lunchtime. Telling your other friends or children not to be friends with someone. So saying, hey, don't be their friend because I don't want you to be, or they're not nice, or you don't know them. Spreading rumors about someone, or someone spreading rumors about you. This is bullying, and it's a really harmful type of bullying, and it can occur online or in person. Embarrassing someone in public purposely, whether that's you embarrassing somebody or somebody embarrassing you. Hurting someone's reputation, saying something bad about somebody to ruin their reputation and hurt them is social bullying. These are another form of bullying that, in conjunction with the others, can be very harmful and cause people a great amount of pain. Physical bullying is very easy to see, and that's why most people associate bullying with physical. However, it's not the only type, as we've said before. It also can take many shapes and forms. Hurting a person's body or possessions, hitting, kicking, pinching, or spitting, tripping or pushing someone, or them tripping and pushing you, taking or breaking somebody's things. Again, that's physical. Finally, making mean or rude hand gestures. And so we've seen this before, and maybe you've done it before, but remember that if it causes somebody else distress or pain, it's bullying, whether it happens to you or you're doing it to someone else. It's a very, very prevalent form of bullying, and you've probably seen it a lot. It probably occurs in your school, or it probably occurs in your community. But that doesn't make it right, and we need to be conscious of when it happens to us, and we need to be conscious of when we're doing it to others. It's time for a quiz. Am I a bully, or do I know a bully? Remember, bullying is a chameleon. And in fact, you yourself may not recognize it because it may be hidden in you and the things you do and say, and you've gotten so used to it that you don't realize that what you're doing is actually bullying someone. You may not realize that someone's bullying you because you've become so used to it. You might have a friend who is a bully but is not bullying you. That doesn't make it any better. Just because you're not the victim of it doesn't make it correct. Finally, you might have a bully in your life, but you didn't realize it. So you really have to think about your relationships, and are they positive? Do you feel good or better when you're with these people, or do you feel worse by what they say or what they do? Remember, bullying isn't always physical, and in fact, sometimes it's mental or intellectual. So you have to take time to think about you, yourself, your community, your friends, and how do they make you feel? And how are you making them feel? It's time now to do a little bit of self-work and reflection and self-reflection. Food for thought. Have you or anyone you know ever encountered bullying? What kind was it? Remember, there are many different kinds. Where do you feel like most bullying happened? Does it happen at school? In your activities in sport? Does it happen at home with a brother or a sister? What do you think most people do when they see bullying? And more importantly, why? Do they help? Do they stand by? When bystanders get involved in situations of bullying, what do you feel works or doesn't work? Should they interfere? Should they stand to the side? Should they tell an adult? What does cyberbullying look like when you use social media or emails back and forth or text messages? Is it different from traditional bullying? If so, how? Or why? Think about kids who are bullied in your school or community. Why do you think they bully? And how does it make them appear to their peers and friends? Do their friends respect them? Do they fear them? Do they do both? Do they admire them? Or do they loathe them? How do you think their friends think about bullies? What to do? If you've been bullied, witnessed bullying, or bullied someone, you could use some support to deal with it, and that's okay. The first step is to talk to a trusted adult about what you went through. This could be a parent, another family member, a friend's parent, a teacher, a coach, faith leader, or your school counselor. The most important thing is that you use your voice and speak up. I might be being bullied. Well, speak up. If you feel uncomfortable with the comments or actions of someone, tell someone. It's better to tell a trusted adult you know than to let the problem continue. Finally, get familiar with what bullying is and what it is not. If you recognize any of these descriptions, you should stay calm, stay respectful, and tell an adult as soon as possible. Now that we're familiar with what bullying is, let's talk about how we can ensure that we are not a bully, or how we can ensure that others have a good example of what a bully is not. We must model good behavior. Treat everyone with respect. Treat them how you would like them to treat you. Nobody, no one should be mean to another. Stop and think before you say or do something that could hurt someone. Think about what you're saying, especially if you're angry or upset, and think about if that's really what you want to do and would it hurt someone or hurt someone's feelings. If you feel like you're being mean to someone, find something else to do. Just stop. Go play a game, watch TV, or talk to a friend. Remove yourself from that situation. Talk to an adult that you trust. They can always find ways to help you be nicer to others. And keep in mind that everyone is different, not better or worse, simply different. In fact, being different is the beauty of life. Our uniqueness is what makes us special. Our uniqueness is what creates great things in the world. If you think you're being bullied, or you think you've bullied someone in the past, you should apologize. This makes everyone feel better. You'll be surprised how a simple word or two, where you explain and you accept what you did, and you apologize, will help the other person feel better. So what can you do? When you see bullying, there are safe things you can do to make it stop. You don't have to insert yourself into the situation physically, but there are things you can do which are safe and will help the situation go away. First, talk to a parent or a teacher, or another adult you trust. Adults need to know when bad things happen, and then they can help. So reach out to an adult and tell them what's going on, and maybe they can find a way to be helpful in that situation. You can be kind to the child who's being bullied. Show them that you care by trying to include them in the things you do. Sit with them at lunch, or go sit with them on the bus. Talk to them at school or invite them to do something. Just hanging out with them will help them know that they aren't alone, that there is someone out there that cares about them. And this can make the difference in someone's day. Finally, not saying anything makes it worse for everyone. You have to let people know what's going on. Otherwise, that bully will think it's okay to keep doing that same behavior. Now, if you really want to make change, action for traction. If you want to get traction on an idea, you have to take action. What are some things that you could change in your school or the community that would make it easier to speak up about bullying? What projects, who could you talk to, who could you involve? Finally, what kind of action-oriented project could we initiate in our community to make bullying go away or at least be lessened for those who are bullied? This is an important thing to think about. But this starts with you. Be the best that you can be. Model the person you want to be. Embrace your uniqueness. You are a unique person. You are a unique individual. But remember, we have to embrace others' uniqueness too. Model the person that you would like others to be. Show them what you think it would be like to be a nice person. Remember to be generous and patient. Be generous with your time. Understand that you don't know what that person might be going through. And just be patient if you see them having a tough day. But don't forget to use your voice. Express what you are feeling. If you feel you're being bullied by someone, let them know. Tell them how they're making you feel. That could make the difference. And then use your voice to tell others. People may not understand how they are making you feel. If you are bullied, remember, talk to a teacher. Talk to an adult. Adults can help. And remember, you are not alone. People want to help you. Just ask for help. You don't have to suffer bullying. And if you feel like you are bullying someone, you can also ask for help. Everyone is entitled to enjoy life without fear or apprehension. And it starts with you. Be the best that you can be. In closing, you can break this down into simply 3 things. Be amazing. Be generous and be unique. Be amazing. Be a role model for others. Show them what's possible when you bring love and kindness, generosity, and patience to your relationships and how you are. Be generous. Think about others. Be empathetic. Think about how they feel, how you might be making them feel. And then try to be understanding when they're having a tough day rather than lashing back out with anger or bad words or actions. And then finally, never lose your uniqueness. You are a unique person and you have unique things to celebrate and share with others. It is this uniqueness that brings the beauty to the world and the beauty to you. You are bound to do amazing things if you can remember your uniqueness. Let's start by being good role models. Let's start by modeling great behavior. But let's start by empowering ourselves and our community to treat each other with respect, love, and understanding.